Over the last few days, we've gotten actually quite a bit of Starfield news, but it's mostly been smaller stuff, so I haven't bothered making a video about all of the stuff, and instead I just wanted to wait for more things to come out so I could just sort of pile it all together into one single video, instead of making like 100 3-minute videos, right? So figure this is a very quick news roundup, but we do actually have quite a bit to talk about, so let's just not waste any time and get straight to the point. Now, starting off, the other day we saw all over Twitter and Reddit, and I even saw one post on Instagram that was showing Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, and Pete Hines from Bethesda are both currently playing Starfield on their Xboxes along with a third unknown account. So it's good to see that the game is probably running well on consoles, otherwise I'm sure these three people would be moaning at Bethesda. I'm insanely jealous right now, but the wait is almost over. Moving on, one of Bethesda's main developers in Emil has been tweeting a lot about Starfield recently, saying the following, quote, "There comes a point making every game where we've played it so much it's easy to forget that most people haven't. Generally right before release, when I've sorted through pages of eternal feedback, like the fact that Starfield isn't out in the wild yet is hard for me to reconcile." So obviously not a lot of news in that single tweet, but it's nice to know that the team at Bethesda are playing the game a ton and having fun with it. You know, we never really saw any tweets like this from developers about Fallout 76, and I think that we can all understand now why. The big takeaway for me here is that we're seeing people not just testing the game, but just straight up playing it, enjoying it, and having fun with it. If the game was a huge mess, I don't think that we would be seeing tweets like this, because the devs would be running around like headless chickens trying to fix the game, right? Well, next we do actually get something very interesting again from Emil, who also said that he's experimenting with his latest Starfield playthrough, making a barbarian character based on his other characters from Conan Exiles and Diablo 4. So I'm assuming this is a melee only character, which is cool to see, but again, sadly nothing too big here. Shortly after this, Emil did post a thread saying, quote, "I know this isn't what any Starfield fan wants to hear from me, but I feel like I need to make this clear. No one other than Todd Howard himself is authorized to talk publicly about unreleased game info. That's the job of our PR/marketing/community folks. You have tons of questions, I get it, and my vague posting about the game doesn't help. I'm so humbled by your anticipation of Starfield, seriously. It's mind-boggling to me, so it really does pain me to say that I simply can't answer 99% of your questions." He then ends the thread with, "I can't share my opinions on game content, I can't talk about performance, and I can't discuss most things. I signed an NDA. I'm a professional and I don't want to get fired, but your support is everything to us. You fill my heart every day, best fans ever." Now look, I know that this isn't huge news, but for me this is actually really nice to hear. It's clear that Bethesda are very grateful that we as a fan base are getting excited for their games, even though this is a new IP that we've never heard of before, that we've never seen before. It must feel pretty good as a developer, right, to see thousands and thousands of people hyped for a new IP like this, especially after all the shit they took for Fallout 76, which, yeah, okay, was deserved, but still. Well, next up, we also saw Aaron Greenberg tweet recently that the Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct is now their most viewed show to date, which is pretty huge, with over 92 million views, which is absolutely crazy. They've got to let me host one of these shows at some point so I can get 92 million views. Again, this is nuts though, really just showing how excited people are for Starfield. Now, of course, not all of these 92 million viewers are people watching just for Starfield, and a lot of these are people watching more than once, but I think that most are people watching for Starfield, right? It's clearly one of, if not the most anticipated game of this year. But just very quickly, in other news, there is something somewhat negative that I want to quickly brush over. That being PC Gamer. I'm seeing a lot of people complain about PC Gamer making negative Starfield tweets and articles, and all I really have to say is, it sucks to see, but sadly that's what gets them clicks. That's why a lot of content creators do nothing but make negative videos. They're appealing to a bunch of haters that thrive on this stuff, and while yeah, it's pathetic that they do this, I think that we just need to not pay any attention to it, honestly guys. The more you complain about them doing it, the more they're going to keep doing it because you're viewing it, right? Now there has also been a somewhat ridiculous amount of people suddenly hating the idea of Radiant Quest in Starfield. Like, people all over the internet right now are posting things like, "Oh, Starfield has Radiant Quest, I'm gonna be pissed," and okay, so Starfield might have Radiant Quest, thank god I didn't pre-order, and all of that stuff, and I honestly have no idea where this suddenly come from. don't know if some crappy news site made an article about it for clicks, or if another content creator briefly mentioned it and it just blew out of proportion. But yes, of course Starfield is going to have Radiant Quest. It's an open world RPG. Every single open world RPG in existence that I've played at any rate, and I've played a lot of them, have Radiant Quests. It helps fill the map, it gives you things to do, and also helps you find resources and money and cool loot. And look, I agree Fallout 4 took the Radiant Quest mechanic way too far, but Bethesda has learned a lot from that lesson, I think, and I don't think it will be that bad, but yeah, I don't really understand why this is news. Of course Starfield is going to have Radiant Quest. Anyone with any Bethesda knowledge could have told you that before we even got the official Starfield announcement all those years ago. And you know what, this is actually a very good chance for me to talk about something that I've honestly been biting my tongue on for the last year or so, and that's this. So many people aren't expecting an RPG from Starfield, and it's going to bite you in the arse when Starfield comes out and lead to disappointment. The amount of comments and tweets I see from people, and I just sigh in sadness because these folks are clearly expecting a story-based game and not an RPG. And I think it's mostly people who haven't played other Bethesda games, so they just don't really know what to expect. And like, obviously no hate to those people, it's just sad to see because, you know, I can't do anything about it, I'm a fucking nobody. But if that's what people are expecting, then that's what people are expecting. But so many people are saying things like, oh, what's the main character's name, and why haven't we heard the protagonist speak yet? And even some of the speculation I see in other people's videos, it's just clear to me that they don't really know what they're getting into, and of course most of us don't for the most part, but if you haven't already, just go and play Skyrim, go and play Fallout 4, they're both on Game Pass, just get a feel of what Starfield will be like, because I don't want anyone to go into Starfield expecting a story-based game and then getting angry at Bethesda when they realise, oh, it's a deep RPG. Anyway, sorry for that very quick off my chest, but that is pretty much everything that has happened in the last week or so. I just wanted to make a very quick news roundup to keep everyone up to date on what is currently going on with Starfield. So please do drop the video a like for me if you haven't already, and if you do want to stay up to date with all Starfield news, leaks, discussions, and plenty of lore and character build videos and stuff like that when the game finally releases in just 45 days, then consider subscribing, I'd appreciate you massively. Lastly, as always, a massive thank you to the channel members. I really cannot express how grateful I am. You guys rock. Thank you for being here month after month. But with all of that said and done, thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.